Hello. Okay, this is my last live stream for cookie decorating for Christmas of my collection of lesser known Christmas characters. So last week I did this Befana cookie, La Befana from Italy, Italian Christmas folklore, the Christmas witch. I did the Christmas spider from Eastern Ukraine, their Christmas folklore. I did the Yule cat, Jóla Kötturinn from Iceland. And just a couple days ago, I did Kagatiao, the pooping log from Catalonia, Spain. And today I'm doing my last one in the collection, Krampus. So these are like a collection of cookie cutters and stamps that I have. This is how Krampus turns out after he's, my cat's here, after he's, cut from gingerbread and stamped. And they're all available at my online shop, but I wanted to do like a live stream collection so I could save that to my feed. So those of you who own these cookie cutters and stamps or who buy them eventually, you have like a free resource to follow along for like a real-time full-length tutorial on how to decorate these particular cookies. So I'm just going to get started. So I have my cookie here. I've got all of these stamped impressions, and I'm just going to start by outlining every stamped impression here. And then once I've outlined everything here, I will then flood the cookie as well. Oh, sorry, that is just my cat. She's fine. She's just old. And of course, if you have any questions about this cookie or about cookie decorating in general, please feel free to let me know so I can answer those questions, and then it'll be saved to this recording that I'll post to my feed. So Krampus is, he is a character from Christmas folklore. He is a companion of Saint Nick in Austria and parts of Germany. While Saint Nicholas, we know him as Santa Claus. And someone asks, when I outline in the ditch of the stamped cookie, will your flood stay where it's supposed to? I'm actually, a lot of the ditches, I'm sort of going right to the side of the ditch here, so it's right on the edge. But some areas, like where the cookie spreads, the ditch is a little deeper, so you can also like kind of double layer it if you're worried. But I do anticipate the flood icing to sort of maybe go over it in some places, at which point I will then like be re-outlining it, but I'll sort of have all of the little valleys to see exactly where to fix all the outlines that maybe sort of get hidden by the flood layer. Okay, so Krampus, St. Nicholas, as we know him, Santa Claus brings gifts for good children. Over here, he also brings coal for naughty children. But Krampus is St. Nick's companion. He is the one who, I guess, doesn't bring anything for the children. He's a little bit more of a scary character. He is said to visit misbehaving children. You can interpret visit however you would like. It's not very nice visit though. So Krampusnacht, translating to Krampus night, is celebrated on December 5th across Germany, Austria, and other alpine countries. And in more recent times, Krampusnacht has sort of become a fun annual tradition. People dress up in costumes, parade the streets, and enjoy food, drink, and seasonal merriment. And the holidays becoming a little bit more popular over here in North America as well, because it captures the excitement of Christmas and the spookiness of Halloween, and sort of helps bridge that gap between the two holidays. And as you may have seen, there are movies now that are like Christmas movies, but they're about Krampus and other sort of, he's sort of made his way into pop culture over here a bit more than some of these other Christmas characters I've done cookies of. So he would be probably the one you will have heard of if you've heard of any of these ones. So I'm just going to fill in the sort of inside of his mouth here. I'm going to use this white, and this is actually like a white piping icing just because his eyes are so small. I don't really want to like over flood it, so I'm just using a bit of a looser white piping icing to sort of fill in his eyeballs. And then I'll just flood in his pupils here. And then I will move on to flooding his fur. Oh, and actually I'm gonna flood his horns. I don't have white flood with me, and I totally didn't even consider this. I want to do his horns in white, so I'm just gonna use piping icing and sort of hope I can smooth it out as much as possible. Okay, now I will flood his fur, and I'm just going to use this gray. So I'm going to flood each of these little sections sort of as carefully as possible. And I'll also sort of be like alternating these sections, just in case my flood does go over the black outlines, which I expect it will. these little sections will have sort of crusted over, and I'll still get the little valleys that help define them, so I can still see what's going on when it comes time for me to add more detail. Okay, I'm gonna just move on to his beard here before I do the rest of the face, just so that these sections that I've already done have a bit of a chance to crest over. So if you're just joining me now, this is a cookie of Krampus, a character from Austrian, German Christmas folklore. He is a companion of Saint Nick, aka Santa Claus, and he, Saint Nick brings gifts for good children, and Krampus visits and punishes the naughty children. And then once I am done flooding these sections, I am going to re-outline some of these, like the black lines here. Give it a few minutes to dry and then add some painted details to him. And I will do it all during this live stream, and I will save it to my feed so it can be referred back to at any point in the future. All right, I'm gonna do his red tongue now. And this is what he'll look like when I'm done. This is the one I did last year. So you can see I go over the black outlines and then add in the painted hairline details. So this is what this cookie will look like at the end of this live stream. Oh. That is my cat. She's fine, just old. She Again, that's just my old cat. She's fine. She's just crabby sometimes. Okay, so now that the cookie is flooded, I'm gonna use my black piping icing to go back over these details. So all the black lines that I initially flooded, I'm just gonna go over them again to really make the design pop. And then that will give the flood underneath a chance to dry before I add the painted details on top. Someone said the cat is cracking me up. She is so loud. She is so loud. She is so loud at 3 o'clock in the morning. She's not even deaf. Usually they are particularly loud when they start to lose their hearing, cats, but nope, she is not deaf. She's not anything other than weirdly spry for her incredible old age. She will be 20 in about 3 weeks. Someone asked, where can we get these cutters? Yes, this cutter is available in my online shop, luciebakes.com. It's LUCIE bakes.com. And if you just go to like the homepage and you search Krampus, it'll come up. And it's available as an STL file and in like the 3D printed form. I've also got available La Befana from Italian Christmas Folklore, Christmas Spider from Eastern Ukraine, the Yule Cat from Iceland, and Kagatiao, the pooping log from Catalonia, Spain. Someone else said, I'm your biggest fan. And then they said, I'm not your biggest fan anymore. I'm leaving. Hashtag female rage. Okay. I don't get it, but okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I did. It's hard to read the comments at the same time as looking at the cookie. I'm sorry if I missed that initially. Someone says, I'm amazed how fast you're doing this. That's just a lot of practice. Lots of practice over the years of learning to work as quick as I can. And also because I do have time constraints. My children are napping. So I want to get this done before their nap time ends. So there's some motivation there for me to work real fast. Okay, so I think I got all the outlines. Maybe I'll copy this one side here. It sort of matches the other side. Oh, and I missed this one. Okay, so at this point, you could totally leave your cookie like this. I like to add the additional painted details. So this is what I'll be doing next, is adding in like the hairline brush strokes with my paintbrush and some edible ink pen. This is the Krampus cookie I made last year. I coated it in resin to preserve it and added magnets on the back. So he's been on my basement fridge all year. So now I hope that this gray area, it has, since I only just flooded it, I hope it's crusted over enough for me to add these painted details. So we'll find out in a minute. Just get my black food gel ready and my paintbrush. Okay. The nice thing about painting with food gel is you can leave it in your paint palette, and if it dries out, it's not ruined. You just add a bit more vodka to like reactivate the color. Unlike, you know, if you're using acrylic paint and you left your paint palette out in the open, it would just dry out and your paint would be wrecked, it would be dry. But food coloring, you just add a bit of water or vodka to the dried out color and it fully reactivates. So again, I'm just going to add, now this one, lots of hairline details all over him. So this is what I'll be doing at this point. And if you're just joining now, this cookie is Krampus, a character from European folklore, specifically sort of Austria, Germany, and other alpine countries. So Krampus is a companion of Saint Nick, aka Santa Claus. Well, Santa brings gifts for good children. Krampus visits and punishes the naughty children. You may have heard of him because North America, he's sort of caught on a bit in North America. There are some movies about him, Christmas movies about him. But yeah, he's a scary Christmas character. But I think it's pretty fun, and it's there's a holiday called Krampusnacht, December the 5th, which means Krampusnight, and basically people, it's an annual tradition. People dress up like Krampus. You also may have seen like social media posts of Krampus festivals, Krampus parades in the street. They dress up like Krampus. There's food, drink, seasonal merriment, kind of like other, you know, Christmas markets, fairs, and other things that happen outdoors around the Christmas season. Yeah, and this sort of holidays become a lot more popular over here just because it sort of ties Halloween, bridges the gap between Halloween and Christmas, sort of ties in that fun spookiness, Halloween leading up to Christmas, you know, just a couple months later. And I'm just gonna, like, I'm using sort of the piped lines as like my guidelines for like these hairline strokes, making him look more like a little more furry. And for the painting, I'm just using black food paint. It's just the Chef Master black food gel. You don't have to get like any specific brand of specialty food paint. I just prefer Chef Master food gels to some of the other brands out there because it paints on very, very cleanly, especially their white gel. And then this paintbrush, this super fine tip paintbrush is available in my online shop. It's called the Rainbow Quill brush, and it's really good. It's really, really, really fine tipped. It's like about the size of a needle, like a pin. All right, so making our way down his face, adding all those details, which again, they're optional. You can just leave it at the flood and piping, but if you have the time, you can totally add the painted little hairlines. And if you're just joining, this is Krampus. He is a mythical Christmas character from Austria, Germany, other alpine countries. He is the companion of Saint Nick over there, aka Santa Claus. Santa Claus, as we all know, brings gifts for good children and coal for naughty children. While in Austria, they have Saint Nick, who brings gifts for good children, and Krampus, who visits and punishes the naughty children. And he is not nice either. Someone says, I love your painting on... Yes, I'm painting on barely crusted over icing. Normally I recommend waiting several hours between flooding your cookie and painting, just so you don't like puncture the surface and then wreck it. And some of the other live streams I've done for my other lesser known Christmas character cookies, I did puncture the icing in a few spots, managed to fix it. But this painting is pretty light, and this brush is very, very fine. So I'm hoping it's crusted over just enough so that I won't have any mistakes. Someone says, what brand or brush am I using? So this brush is from my online shop. It's about as thick as like a dressmaker pin, like a sewing needle. It's really thin. It's from my online shop, lucybakes.com, Lucie for Lucy. And it's called the Rainbow Quill brush. It comes in a set of 3. It's only $9 Canadian, so like $6 or $7 US for the set of 3. And they work so well. I've been using these ones for years. I carry them in my store. The only thing I will say with regards to caring for your brush or your paintbrushes is no matter where you get your paintbrushes from, whether you go buy them from like a super specialty like professional art store and spend, $25 on one fine tipped watercolor brush to use on your cookies or whatever. Doesn't matter how cheap or expensive your paintbrushes are. Never, ever, ever leave them sitting in a glass of water. It's the fastest way and most immediate way to irreparably damage the bristles. Because if you leave it sitting in a glass of water, give it a rinse first. If you leave it sitting in a glass of water like this, the bristles bend outwards like that. And if it sits in there for long enough, even just a few minutes, 15 minutes, the bristles become permanently bent to the side. Really hard to get their shape back to pointing nice and straight. They just become basically permanently frayed. Doesn't matter the quality of the brush, how expensive it was. That's the first way to ruin it. That's just my cat. She's fine, just old. So always just give your brush a rinse and then wash it off. Just leave it on your countertop or something. Don't ever just leave it sitting in a glass of water. Someone's saying they want to see my cat. I'll describe her. She is weigh about 10 pounds. She's a Manx, so she was born without a tail. It's just a funny little stump. She's very round in the middle. She's just like a very short-waisted cat. She's all white, blue eyes, really surprisingly spry and active for her incredible old age. She will be 20 in about 3 weeks. I got her from the SPCA when she was 13. I really suspect that they gave me the wrong date of birth for her, because I did not expect her to live as long as she has. Usually Manxes tend to have a shorter lifespan than regular cats, because they often have a lot of health problems associated with their like deformed spines. And she really shows absolutely no sign of getting older whatsoever. But here she is. She's not deaf. She's not going blind. I don't know. Yeah, I want to say maybe they overestimated her age by 10 years. Okay, so there is Krampus. I've added all these little hairline details to him. Oh, you know what? I'm going to add a little more to his tongue. So this is Krampus. He is the companion of Saint Nick in Austria, Germany, and other alpine countries. While Saint Nick visits good children, Krampus visits and punishes the bad children. He's a little more sinister version of Santa Claus who just brings coal. Okay, so there we have all the hairlines. And I'm also going to add, so this is the one I did last year. So I'm also going to add some white highlights to just make him pop a little bit more. So just like how I did the black little hairline details to sort of add that dimension, I'm going to do the same thing with white, sort of in the in-between areas, the areas that didn't get a lot of black detail. So it kind of gives it more of a 3D sort of shine here. So if you're just joining, this is Krampus. He is a character from European Christmas folklore, a companion of Saint Nick in Austria, parts of Germany, other alpine countries. Santa Claus, or I guess Saint Nick over there, brings gifts for the good children, and Krampus visits and punishes the naughty children. Not a very nice character. He is a character who is more of an enforcer of good behavior. Get your children to behave, or Krampus will be coming. He sort of gained some popularity in North America. In recent years, they've made scary Christmas movies about Krampus called Krampus. And he sort of is a fun way to bridging the gap between the spooky season of Halloween and the Christmas season. And in Austria and Germany, they have a holiday called Krampusnacht, December 5th, Krampus night. Basically, everyone dresses up like Krampus, parades through the street. There's food, drinks, seasonal merriment. You may have seen videos of it on social media. It's pretty scary and fun looking. Emphasis on the scary. It's very scary looking. But I think that part is fun. A couple of years ago, there was a brewery here in Vancouver that hosted a Christmas market. And they called it Krampus Market. So it was all a Krampus spin on our more traditional Christmas markets in North America here. But they had, instead of a meet Santa Claus, photo op, they had a meet Krampus, and he had he was sitting in a kind of a tall, scary chair. And you could have your photo taken with Krampus. I went with my twins, who were only 4 months old at the time. So obviously they had no idea and weren't afraid. But it made a really excellent photo. So they met Krampus before they ever met Santa Claus. Then they're 2.5 now. They actually only just met Santa Claus this past month. And both absolutely hated him, were absolutely terrified of Santa Claus. And we're almost done this cookie. Just going to do highlights on his tongue now. So what a difference the little shading brushstrokes and the highlight brushstrokes make to a cookie. White and black, my most necessary colors for painting with. Let's add some nice long shine to the tongue. And I'm just going to use a softer bristle brush to sort of blend that shine a little bit. All right, so there he is. There is my Krampus cookie. So I think that only just took less than an hour to decorate. Yeah, love him. Awesome. So he was the final little installment of my collection of European Christmas character cookies. So I'm going to let him dry now. But I also did La Befana, the Christmas witch from Italian Christmas Folklore last week. So her live stream is saved on my feed. If you have this cookie cutter and stamp, there's the full saved live stream for the whole decorating process for this one. Same with the Christmas spider from Eastern Ukrainian folklore. The Yule cat, Yule Katurin from Icelandic Christmas folklore. He's the other scary one, along with Krampus, an enforcer of good behavior. Basically, be a good kid, or the Yule cat, who is a giant, vicious creature, will come for you and turn you into Christmas dinner. And then we have Cagatiao, the pooping log from Spain. Another really funny and whimsical Christmas character. Not evil or anything. This is just not scary, very fun one. You position him in your home, put a blanket over you, decorate a log with a face, put him in your home, decorate his cover his lower half with a blanket. Christmas Eve, children sing songs around him, beat him with a stick. You lift up the blanket and there are small presents and gifts as if he has magically pooped toys. So that's Catalonia, Spain. And then, of course, we have Krampus from Austria, Germany. So those are the 5 cookie cutters and stamps that I have in my collection of lesser known Christmas characters. And then now I've got all of the live streams recorded and saved to my feed. So if you do ever purchase these cookie cutters and stamps, or just want to reference the videos for technique or whatever, they'll all be saved to my feed with a cover that just explains. Yeah, so it says Spain. Yeah, Spain's it's something. You should Google pictures of him. He's really funny. But yeah, so now all of these videos will be saved to my feed so they can be referenced forever. Yeah, and there you go. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll probably be back on at some point later. But yeah, there we go. So there's all 5 from the collection on my feed now. All right, have a great day. Bye.